the reason why the spirit world comes to you when you are going to sleep. This is a very important thing that a lot of people feel this maybe as something that they don't like, but actually it's very easy to resolve this. And in the way you can resolve this is first you need to think, what is the reason that they coming to me before I go to sleep? And this is very easy because it's the only moment in the day that you will be relaxing. Maybe you watch some television to relax, maybe you did some walking in nature to relax, but the thing where you really don't going to do anything, it's the place where you are going to sleep. The next thing, what's also very important, is when you are sitting in the power, in the energy, where the spirit world can make the connection to you. There are special meditations for sitting in the power. But when you make the connection to the spiritual world, then it's the same like almost falling asleep. It's like there is a line getting opened at the back of your head, and fall asleep is the most easy way to make the connection with the spirit world. But in the power, it can also be in the same way, because when you're sitting in the power, you will be coming in some kind of state, and in this state, they will be able to connect to you as well. But I can help you with this, and I can help you with this very easy. Because if you're going to sit in the power, and I really want you to go sitting in the power, but if you are going to sit in the power, then the spiritual world, of course, will not come to you when you are going to sleep, unless you feel really safe about this. Okay? If you think it's no problem at all. Sometimes I just feel a cat on my bed, and I know some cats in heaven. But then I just put on the light, and then the cat is immediately gone, and that's because I kept myself out of the state. But the spirit world knows that I don't mind this. But a lot of people are very scary when this happens. And I promise you, now, promise you is maybe a bit too big thing, but I know that almost everyone I told about this, I think even everyone I told about this, when they are going to sleep, and they just take like 3 times a week sitting in the power, open up to the spirit world and say, if you want to tell something to me, or you just want to make the connection to me, do it right now. This is the time that I want to be there for you. I don't want to be there for you when I'm going to sleep, because then I get scared and I just want to go to sleep. It works. I've seen it so many times in the Netherlands, that people who are so scary for the spirit, so scared for the spiritual world, which a world which only bring love, but they were so scared for it, just by sitting in the power, they will learn the way just to be in this power, to be in this power, and they learn from, hey, they don't come to me at when I'm going to sleep anymore. There are maybe some other things, but also interesting for you to know is that when you going to the power by when you're not in the power, but when you're just going to an old building, maybe you get the same scariness as when you go to sleep. I think it's not can be exactly the same, because when you're going to sleep, it will be the spirits who left you. It's different when you walk into an old building. When you walk onto an old building, there will be history over there, and history can also learn us that history, the energy of history, will be able to see. If you are really spiritual developed, you can see history. Maybe you can even see future of a building, but you can see history. So you can see maybe soldiers fighting in an old castle. Maybe you can see really terrible things. I don't want to put terrible things in your mind, but maybe someone was raped in this castle, and this is a thing that you saw. Even when soldiers are fighting it can be very heavy with swords, of course. Maybe you see that that persons have passed in really terrible ways. Maybe you are noticed of illnesses that that were way heavy in the times before than right now. What's good of you to know is this has nothing to do with the spiritual world. It's just the energy of the past that you're being aware of. And if you can see them, all your senses can recognize it. So this means if you can see them, or you can feel it, you can also hear it. So even if you're going in this old castle, and you hear a knock like this, from spirits can knock, of course spirits can knock, but they will knock only lovely. But in an old castle, it can also be just the sound of the past. You can hear the voices of the past. And the voices of the past have nothing to do with the spiritual world, because the spiritual world is the world who's only bringing love. And this is also why evidence is so interesting. What's also very interesting, if you are going to an old building, you can, yeah, you can ask your a spiritual guide there, if you're a bit more developed in your mediumship, or someone just from this place, and maybe they can show you something from this old place. It's maybe more interesting than a guide really from this place. I did this in a very big church one time, and I really loved this church. But when I was getting back of the spirit world, is you maybe love this place, but remember this was the place of war. And of course, this is true because in the history, especially in Europe, the church decides so many things. It's always was the Catholic Church who was even more important than the king himself. The king maybe decide what happened, but the king was ordered to listen to the church, and the king better listen to the church because else he will had a real bad life. And every time that the king had experienced something bad, it was because he hadn't listened to the church. So this is repeated again on history, but it's interesting just to talk to a spirit with this. The last thing that I want to tell you about scariness of the spirit world for now is a spirit is not always the, yeah, it's not always coming in very happy. They are happy, they are completely in love, they love you and they love themselves and they only want to bring love, but they also want you to recognize them. And if it is a spirit who passed away by being murdered or take his own life, or a really heavy fight, or maybe very much of depression, or something else with really good evidence for you, then they will bring you this first because they want you to recognize them. And it's very interesting because my own girlfriend always tells me that there was a time that I just go whistling. Is the English word like that? Like, but I was whistling like a person that she know who passed away. And this is interesting because I never know that I did this. She just says from, oh, that's interesting. Erik makes the sound of this very nice person again who's passed away. When you're going to but if back to the scariness, when you know this, then you can know from, oh, they don't want to scare me about this depressed energy or about this huge fight that they have been to, or something else that is really not, yeah, not nice evidence. Maybe someone died from a car crash. If a deceased had a car crash, then it will be so heavy for you to experience this, but it has nothing to say about that the spirit is bad. They just want to show you the car crash, and I think it's a very good way to know from, like you say, from, oh, it just feels like this car is hitting my arm. Oh, that's Uncle Johnny. I just give someone a name. I don't have an Uncle Johnny, and I don't know if you have, but I just made up a name. But it's Uncle Johnny who been hit by the car crash. So now I know who it is. Maybe he wants to speak to me and tell me something. And these are three things that are so important that people get scared of. So if they want to talk to you when you're going to sleep, please remember at first that if you try to talk to them when you're not at sleep, then they will be way less at your bed when you are going to sleep. And maybe not even more, unless if you like it. And the next thing is buildings, places, everywhere in the world has history. History has energy, and this energy has nothing to do with the spiritual world. It's just memories of the past. So yeah, it's been like maybe every place can be a bit like a museum where you just yeah, remember something heavy that's been going on in the past. And the last thing I want to say for now is just that they can give some heavy evidence sometimes, and it's just that you remember who they are, like Johnny from the car crash. And I hope every Johnny will be healthy, of course, and every Johnny will have a very good and safe life. But maybe you have an Uncle Johnny who died from a car crash. It could be possible. I wish you very much safety in your mediumship. I know you are safe already, but I wish you also the feeling of that you are safe in your mediumship. And a very lovely day. Goodbye.